Well, good evening, everybody. And Ed, if you're listening, it was great to see you, and I'm just sorry we couldn't hear you, but thank you for joining in anyway. I want to start off by bringing the voice of nature into this place. We so often gather together to talk about animals, to talk about protection of the environment, and sometimes people lose sight of the fact that out there are these amazing living beings, many of them having their own personalities. So I want to start off by greeting you with the voice of the chimpanzee, the sound that you would hear if you came with me to the Gombe National Park in Tanzania, climbed up to the peaks in the morning and listened. The sort of greeting which is very appropriate for you, Ed, if you're listening, because it's the distance call. And that sound out in the forest, crossing the valleys, for me it's one of the most magical sounds of nature. I first went to Africa because as a child I loved animals, I loved nature. I would take my homework up into a tree. I felt closer to the birds. And this passion eventually took me to Africa, where the late Louis Leakey gave me this extraordinary opportunity to study chimpanzees more like us than any other living creature, sharing more than 98% of our DNA. Creatures from whom we could have a blood transfusion if we matched the blood group. Beings who are so like us that they can catch or be infected by all known human infectious diseases. With brains so like ours that the main difference is that they're smaller. The anatomy is amazingly similar. And so it shouldn't surprise us that there are also extraordinary similarities between their behavior and ours. And spending more than 40 years learning about these extraordinary beings, learning their different personalities, collecting up their life histories, always having surprises, finding out new aspects of their fascinating behavior, realizing that the bonds between family members can last throughout life and that they can live for up to 60 years, even more in captivity, knowing that they're capable of compassion and altruism within their community, and they are also, like us, having a dark side to their nature, so that we see violence and brutality, particularly in relation to their interactions with neighboring social groups. Brutality which can lead to the death of the victim. They're very highly territorial. So all this that I've been able to learn with my team about the behavior of chimpanzees, all that's been learned by other people studying chimpanzees across Africa, and of course at the same time learning about the behavior of the other great apes, the gorilla and the bonobo of Africa and the orangutan of Indonesia. All of this is helping us to realize absolutely that there isn't, after all, a sharp line dividing us from the rest of the animal kingdom. It's a very blurry line, and it's getting more blurry all the time. And it makes us realize that we are a part of this amazing animal kingdom. Not separate harm is inflicted. And again, the spider runs, but now these threats are coming more and more quickly, and the spider is running. She doesn't have time to repair properly. And she does bad jobs, and then some of the holes she can't repair. And in the end, there's just a few strands waving about, unable to support each other. That's how I see the web of life. That's how I see biodiversity. That's why it's so terribly important that we help Mother Earth and stop inflicting holes on this precious tapestry of living things. The really wake-up call for me came in 1986, when I went to a conference in the United States where for the first time we brought together all the different, a message of hope. this hope that hundreds and thousands of us rolling up our sleeves, getting out there and doing something, so that our lives are helping to improve what's being damaged for the future generations. This is what gives us hope. It's what gives me hope. And in the Roots and Shoots program, all the young people or older people choose 3 kinds of project to make the world a better place. For people, for their own community, and then reaching out to others, such as those affected by the tsunami. Projects that will make things better for animals, wildlife, and domestic animals too. And finally, for the environment that we all share. And woven throughout is a message of how can we learn to live in peace and harmony with each other, but also with the natural world. Because if we don't learn this, then the future gets grimmer and grimmer and grimmer. So this program for young people is growing very fast, I think because they take ownership. It's their program. They choose what to do. And in every group you'll find kids who care passionately about the environment and want to clean streams and write letters to politicians. And in every group you find kids who are passionate about animals. They want to help endangered species, or they want to help domestic animals. And in every group you find those who want to do community service and go and visit hospitals or raise money for the homeless. So all around the world now there are kids rolling up their sleeves, getting out and taking action. They see the local difference they make. And now they're linked around the world and understand that everywhere where there are groups of Roots and Shoots or other such environmental movements, the difference is a cumulative one. It's happening not just here, it's happening around the world. People are waking up. People are heeding this urgent call, particularly our youngsters. But I think as I travel around that the question I get asked most often is, Dr. Jane, do you really have hope for the future? You've seen chimpanzees disappearing from about 1 million 100 years ago, no more than 150,000 now. You've seen forests go, you've seen the poverty, you've seen cruelty, crime and greed. Do you really think there is hope for us on the planet? Well, there is hope, but it does depend on us. Because the situation now, particularly as regards global warming, we don't have a big window of time in which to try to do something about it. And won't we get mad at ourselves when it comes to our time to leave this planet if we haven't actually done our bit? We want to